Welcome to the Wave Strength. Innovative solutions for a secure retirement. Presented by Pacific Life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Wave Strength podcast series. I'm your host, Jim Breen, Head of Marketing with Pacific Life's Institutional Division. Very excited today to have in the studio with us Lavina Mehta and Michael Oler. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Jim.
Excited to be here.
Well, great. And I know both of you came a long distance to be here and join us in our Southern California studio. So again, thanks for coming out to have this important conversation. And what I'd like to do is learn a little bit about your background before we jump into today's topic. So Lavina Mehta, Vice President of Digital Retirement Investment Solutions at Franklin Templeton. Michael Oler, Assistant Vice President, Head of Defined Contribution Lifetime Income Solutions for Pacific Life's Institutional Division. So Lavina, maybe you can share a little bit about your role at Franklin Templeton.
So at Franklin Templeton, I work on our digital solutions, specifically our goal space engine, which is a personalized solution for participants, both in their accumulation phase, but more importantly, in their decumulation phase. I'm really excited to be here as a former plan sponsor to be working on innovative solutions at Franklin Templeton and also with Pacific Life, bringing new ways for participants to actually plan and live through retirement.
Excellent. Yeah, your experience as a plan sponsor, I want to get to that in a moment. That's an interesting nugget I want to explore more. So thank you for bringing that up. But first, before we get there, Mike Oler, let's share a little bit about your background and your role at Pacific Life within their institutional division.
Sure. I recently joined Pacific Life about 3.5 months ago, focusing on bringing retirement income solutions, lifetime income solutions to plan sponsors and their participants, helping to help them achieve better retirement outcomes. And I think opportunities to work with great partners like Franklin Templeton to bring these solutions to market, where we're trying to look at the challenges holistically and try to create solutions and products to help participants meet their goals in retirement is going to be key to our objectives.
Wonderful. And also you brought up lifetime income solutions. Obviously, we just got done a few weeks ago with a podcast where you talk a lot about that very topic. And I want to just take a quick segue here and encourage our listeners to head over to YouTube, Spotify, and Audible, and you can type in Michael Oler, Lifetime Income Solutions, or Mike Oler and the Wave Strength. Check that podcast out. It's actually a really interesting, in-depth interview that we had a few weeks ago with Mike. So quick little segue there, but back to the topic at hand. So for today's session, we want to dive into addressing fiduciary concerns of our solution and benefits to plan sponsors. And this is it's a great topic, and we obviously have the experts here with us. I want to start with Lavina, because Lavina, prior to Franklin Templeton, you have significant experience as a plan sponsor. Could you maybe share that experience with us right now?
Yeah, of course. So I was with a large engineering construction company for about 20 years, where we started out looking at revamping our investment lineup. It was a company that had only a DC plan, so we were really considering what options our participants could have both during their accumulation phase, but then we were also starting to see that a lot of retirees stayed in the plan after they were no longer working for us. So it was a really big consideration for us on what investment options that we could provide those employees while they were still in plan with us in retirement. And really excited to be here today working on guaranteed income solutions and bringing them to market.
In that said, let's jump into a topic number one, which is plan and workforce management. And this is a key conversation, especially as it pertains to plan sponsors. So let's kick things off discussing that importance. And Lavina, if you don't mind, we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, before we get to that, as you know, as a plan sponsor, a former plan sponsor, some of the things that I would consider looking at potential solutions in my plan is, number one, would my participants use it? Number two, what are the fiduciary considerations around that particular solution, and then looking at the solution features. So just thinking about, are my participants actually going to use this? And there's been a lot of surveys done, both at Franklin Templeton as well as other organizations that show that, yes, participants are looking for some type of additional help around financial wellness as well as decumulation solutions. So that is kind of one of the gateways. And then in addition to that, the Secure Act did also open the doors for plan sponsors to introduce guaranteed income annuity type features into the program. So I think that is a really a path that will allow plan sponsors to adopt these solutions going forward.
Interesting, very interesting. Yeah, your knowledge is, from the perspective of a plan sponsor is very valuable. Very interesting to hear that, Lavina. Thank you for sharing. And Mike, what are your thoughts on that as well?
I think the plan sponsor perspective to this is incredibly helpful as we're trying to think through the right way to deliver the solution to participants. And I like to think of it more as a solution and not a product, because we know that products in and of themselves have a stated goal that they're trying to achieve, but there's not always a clear path of how to utilize it.
Yes,
and that's
yes.
why you package it as a solution, which helps with that utilization. And I think the perspective that Lavina brings, and I think some of the points that she had highlighted from a plan sponsor perspective about, do I have just a DC plan? Do I have a DB plan? Are my participants staying in plan after retirement and using that as a way to generate their lifetime income? Those are important questions that plan sponsors need to think through up front as they're going through the process of trying to find what are the other products and solutions that I need to bring to my participants. And I think it's important to have that broader lens, because I've said it a number of times, retirement is not just a point in time. Retirement is a journey. And I think that plan sponsors who are really focused on that entire retirement journey are the ones who are really being thoughtful about how to bring the best solutions to their participants, with the goal of hopefully giving them the best retirement outcomes.
Yeah, like what you just said there a moment ago, talking about product versus solution. There's a psychology behind that, because in our day-to-day life, we hear, product, somebody's selling me something. Okay, what do you have to sell me? Whether it's, insurance products, it might just be, you need some new tennis shoes. But when you are dealing with something as sensitive as something as important as your life in retirement, a solution, right? That it just sits with you in a way that product just does not. Even the word at a base level. And so what are some of the things that you've seen in your experience, even as a plan sponsor in your current role now? Let's talk a little bit about where the participants are in that mindset.
Yeah, what we've seen is that, as participants are nearing retirement, they're engaging with the plan a lot more, and they're wanting more help from the plan sponsor. And then on the flip side, the plan sponsor is looking for tools to manage their workforce. They want their employees to be able to retire comfortably with dignity. There's a lot of risks as participants near retirement, and a guaranteed income solution will help mitigate that risk and also help plan sponsors kind of, and especially the benefit. The plan sponsors that are looking to provide additional benefits to participants to be able to help them engage their participants and help bring them to a secure retirement.
Well, that's very interesting. What I'd like to do, though, now is switch gears into a different topic within this subject, and that is a clearer road to retirement. And Mike, perhaps you can share about the importance of that. You mentioned a few moments ago, looking at the entire retirement journey of that participant. How does this fit in?
Well, I think, again, it's from that plan sponsor lens of, are they looking at their 401k plan as just a savings vehicle, or are they also looking at it as a vehicle for helping to generate income for participants in retirement, and what role do they want to play in that journey? So a lot of times, plan sponsors will name their plans for, Company ABC Savings Plan or Company ABC Savings and Retirement Plan. What is the goal behind that name? Like, are you really just helping people save and accumulate assets, or do you want them to be able to have a way to turn those assets into a lifetime income stream? And if that's the goal of the plan sponsors to do that latter, then it's really important that they're thinking through the right types of solutions to bring to participants and look at things like participation rates, look at things like how well funded they might be towards their retirement goals, thinking about income replacement ratios, if you will. And they have access to all of that data. And I think that's a helpful way for them to make informed decisions about the right types of products and solutions they want to bring to the table for their participants. And I think we, as Pacific Life, working with Franklin Templeton, are bringing together solutions that can help them once they've made that choice to adopt a lifetime income product for their participants.
Yeah,
And we're
please,
starting
Lavina.
to see a shift with, more defined benefit plans being closed and frozen, where the plan sponsor used to focus a lot more on the defined benefit plan. With those going away, really the focus has shifted to the defined contribution plan and what role does it play in the benefit lineup for participants. And we're starting to see that realization and that shift exactly to what Mike is saying, that it's no longer just a savings plan. Now, it has to be a retirement plan. It has to take on some of that role that the DB plan used to play to provide the full retirement journey. And one of the key things with this partnership between Pacific Life and Franklin Templeton is that we stand behind the solution as a 338 fiduciary. So for plan sponsors that want to outsource some of that responsibility, the product will stand behind the product as fiduciaries. And I think that's a really important thing for plan sponsors.
Thanks for sharing that, Lavina. Yeah, 338, so key, so important. But what I'd like to do now is shift gears once again and maybe move into the features of this solution. Mike, perhaps you can begin.
Sure. I think a lot of times what we need to think about when it comes to offering these types of solutions is simplicity, making sure that we're not building a complex solution or a complex offering that participants aren't going to understand or aren't going to be able to make a decision on for their own. So I think we're working on creating a solution here where you've got the algorithms, if you will, the investment expertise of Franklin Templeton, and how to create customized portfolio based off of personalization. So basically creating a personalized allocation to a set of portfolios, but also incorporating an income guarantee into that process as well. And when you're incorporating the income guarantee, you want it to be as simple as possible. I think the type of product that we're offering through a deferred income annuity is probably one of the most straightforward annuity products that is available in market today. It's essentially an exchange of money for, in return, a lifetime income stream that will start at some point in the future based off of the age that the individual chooses. And that really simple component, I think, is going to help to explain why this type of solution is included in the broader packaging that we're offering through the relationship with Franklin Templeton. And making sure that there's key features such as liquidity, so that as we're allocating participants' funds to this product and showing how much income they've accumulated over time, that they also have access to those funds if they need it, if they choose that this option is not for them. But obviously our hope is that they're going to see the value of having that income stream. And when the point in time comes for retirement, making sure that we've built an engaging experience that will allow for them to very easily turn that income stream on when they're ready.
Yeah, you mentioned simplicity there. I'd love to hear you say that, because that is something that is so important for us to focus on, right? Simplicity. And sometimes we get lost as an industry because we want to, be it maybe a paternalistic approach or whatever you want to call it, we want to make sure that, hey, well, here's all the information. Here is everything. We just want to share that with you because it's so great. But we sometimes lose what is important in that. Is it simple? Can they understand it? Can we even understand it if we were going to sit down as a participant and look through that? Lavina, what are your thoughts?
So from a plan sponsor perspective, in the current environment of a DC lineup where everything else is liquid, I think the point that Mike brought up about liquidity is very important, that the participant can get out at any single point in time. that option is there for the participant. And I think that's a very key consideration for plan sponsors. Another key consideration is just cost. What is it going to cost my participants? And by bringing together an institutional solution, we're able to provide something that's going to cost so much more outside the plan if the participant purchases retail versus in the plan where it's at an institutional price point. So that benefits everyone, benefits the plan sponsor from a fiduciary perspective, but also the participant that they're, taken care of within the plan at a really good price point. Another thing that I want to also emphasize is just that we're working in this partnership not just with Franklin Templeton and Pacific Life, but really engaging other providers in the industry, technology providers, to be able to provide the infrastructure so the plan sponsor doesn't have to worry about how is this going to be implemented in the plan. We're really considering ease for the plan sponsor as they bring the solution to the participants.
Simplicity, ease of use. Great. I love the words. I love where we're going with this. Excuse me, Mike. Yeah.
And I think to that point, the way the annuity structure will be created, it will be one such that it will be a CIT. So you are introducing annuities as a new form of an asset class.
And for those that may not understand, we get somebody that's watching this that may not understand CIT. Excuse me, would you mind?
Collective Investment Trust.
Thank you.
It's a standard fund vehicle that is used in DC plan lineup. So we're trying to replicate structures and vehicles that plan sponsors are already accustomed to. Same for record keepers, same for other technology providers who are going to be included in these solutions, to try to make that process as easy as possible. We'll have daily NAVs or net asset values, daily prices, to help demonstrate not only how much income someone's going to get, but what is that market value of the income that is promised to them in the future if they wanted to take that out of the annuity vehicle right now. So it's important to have all of the different players in the retirement ecosystem to have that lens of everyone's role, but also, I think, again, to the benefit of having Lavina as part of this conversation, that additional lens of the plan sponsor to really think through, does all of this make sense, and is it something that's going to work for plan participants? Because I think at the end of the day, any product or solutions provider out there can build what they think is the best offering. But if it's not adopted by plan sponsors, it's not adopted by participants, and it's not implemented on any record keeping or other technology platforms, is it really the best solution? So trying to find a way to marry the features and benefits along that ecosystem is going to be key.
It sounds like a very high touch, unique situation, and this opportunity to personalize. It really ties into what you said earlier, right? It's a journey. It's not just about the one and done. It's about, let's walk the person through, the individual through that journey. And it really sounds like you're making great efforts to make that happen.
Yeah, and I'd like to
Please,
pick up
Lavina.
on that point a little bit more.
Yeah.
Again, when we were considering guaranteed income solutions in my former role, one of the key considerations was, how much should the individual put into that guaranteed income solution. If you put a solution out there on a platform with no education or guidance for the participant on how much to allocate, it's not going to get very much use. So one of the key features here, and part of my role at Franklin Templeton on the digital solution side, is actually being able to provide that advice to participants on how much they should be allocating to the guaranteed income product, and if that amount should actually change over time because either their personal situation has changed or there's a change in the market environment. And we can now, with technology, do this digitally and provide that level of personalization that was not existing before.
Well, Lavina, that's great to hear. And also wonderful to hear is this focus on the journey, the participant journey, simplicity, solutions, the great keywords I heard here today. And hopefully our audience was also excited to hear about what is in store. I just want to take an opportunity to thank both Lavina and Mike for joining us today on this episode. It's been great speaking with you and getting to know you more.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
Lavina.
thanks for having us, Jim.
No
Been a
problem.
great conversation.
Oh, wonderful. We'd love to have you back. So thank you. And to our audience, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on this episode. And I want to encourage you to please head over to Spotify, YouTube, and Audible and hit like and subscribe to stay current with new Wave Strength content. Thanks and have a great day.
This has been another episode of The Wave Strength, presented by Pacific Life. Don't forget to catch us on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Although this podcast is presented by Pacific Life, the opinions and views expressed are those of the hosts and participants and do not necessarily reflect Pacific Life's views on any of the topics discussed. Pacific Life is a product provider. It is not a fiduciary and therefore does not give advice or make recommendations regarding insurance or investment products. Pacific Life, its affiliates, its distributors, and respective representatives do not provide any employer-sponsored qualified plan administrative services or impartial advice about investments and do not act in a fiduciary capacity for any plan. Pacific Life refers to Pacific Life Insurance Company and its affiliates, including Pacific Life and Annuity Company. Insurance products can be issued in all states except New York by Pacific Life Insurance Company or Pacific Life and Annuity Company. In New York, insurance products are only issued by Pacific Life and Annuity Company. Product availability and features may vary by state. Each insurance company is solely responsible for the financial obligations accruing under the products it issues. Guest speakers are solely responsible for the content of their presentations and do not necessarily represent the opinions of Pacific Life and its affiliates. The views expressed in this presentation are those of the authors and presenters. They are subject to change at any time. All guarantees are subject to the claims-paying ability and financial strength of the issuing insurance company. This presentation discusses products which have not been fully developed or filed for approval. Features and product names are subject to regulatory approval. Contract will be issued by Pacific Life Insurance Company, PLIC, which is not authorized in New York and cannot cover any participant that lives in New York. Subject to further internal review and regulatory approval, any New York participants would be covered by a contract issued by Pacific Life and Annuity Company. In this video, reference to a partnership between Pacific Life and Franklin Templeton refers to a collaborative project between the two companies. Nothing said shall be deemed or construed to create a partnership, joint venture, or agency relationship between the parties. Neither party has the authority to bind the other party or to make commitments on such party's behalf. Franklin Templeton and Pacific Life have jointly developed a solution that will include one or more group annuity contracts issued by Pacific Life to collective investment trusts for the funding of an in-plan accumulation solution, and through Franklin Templeton's Goals Optimization Engine, will allow defined contribution plan participants to purchase, over time, units of a lifetime income benefit. During the accumulation phase, funds can be withdrawn from the solution and annuity contracts. Once allocations are converted into income via annuitization, you will not be allowed to withdraw or liquidate value from the amount annuitized. This information has been provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice or a recommendation. The product discussed is proposed and subject to change. All investments involve risk. There is no assurance that the employment of this strategy will result in future targets being met. Prospective investors should consult a financial professional in order to determine whether an investment product is appropriate for their particular circumstances. Franklin Templeton and Pacific Life are unaffiliated companies. This podcast was recorded on October 17th, 2022.
Thanks for joining us on today's show. We'd love to hear from you. Join the conversation below and leave a comment on your thoughts on what the industry can do better for participants as it pertains to lifetime income solutions. And if you'd like more interesting content, click one of these links over here.